G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Now this is our 6 monthly.
Push record?
I did. I better check, hang on. I did! Now this is our 6 monthly, well this is an overdue 6 month Q&A.
Yeah, 6 months on the road Q&A.
Yeah. So we should have done this weeks ago, but as you know, life on the road can get quite busy, get caught up in stuff, and life just happens. And so
procrastinating, watching dad joke reels.
Hey, I've got to get my dad jokes from somewhere.
Please don't.
All right, well let's just get into it before people just tune out.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so we did a post a bit back and asked people, you know, send in your questions. You can send us anything you want, and we'll answer it as candid and as honestly as possible. So, first one here. So I had to collate all these took forever.
That's because it takes you forever to write things down and read.
It does not. Maybe sometimes. Anyway, what has been the most challenging situation for you on the road?
Challenging situation?
Well, that was, I'm just writing these word for words. It was just a cut and paste.
I'm just thinking.
Well, apart from being...
I'd say Oodnadatta itself was a challenge.
Okay, yes, that was a challenge. That situation was challenging. If you haven't seen it, there was a lot of carnage on the van, some on the car. It was just...
It was one thing after the other, and it was all within the space of about 4 days.
Yep, it just piled up. So it just built up. And then, it just, I guess...
It's snowball effect, really.
Yeah, so that was quite challenging for us emotionally. And financially.
Financially, it was a big hit.
Yeah.
Considering we hadn't really been on the road that long. No.
So, yes, a lot of words were said, but we got through it. I think we're actually stronger for it, and I think we're actually a lot wiser as well.
Probably.
I think so. And also how we tackle things on the road, because since then we've done the Marina Loop, which... That was actually a walk in the park.
That was a walk in the park compared to Oodnadatta.
Only because I think they just graded it. People complain that it's the worst road ever, but when we did it...
It's the same with any of these roads. It depends on when the grader's gone through. If you go through the day after the grader, they're all beautiful, even the Gib. If you time it with the grader, it's a walk in the park. If you miss the grader by a couple of months, then it's horrendous. Yeah,
true. And we missed the Gib.
Grader.
So
Yeah, they were coming on as we were finishing. It was great. Yep.
Yeah, so whoever was after us probably
they were all like, it was smooth, and we were like, it was not smooth.
Yes, I mean, we had friends that, broke axles, we saw bent chassis, caravan stuff had fallen off.
Water tanks coming off vans, you see everything on the Gib.
Yeah, most we got out of that.
If you want to find a van that's well built, go and wait at either end of the Gib and see what has fallen off them, and then don't touch the ones that have fallen apart.
Yeah.
If they're coming off in a tow truck, don't recommend.
No. But in saying that, because we bought our van second hand and it already done the Gib.
It's done the Gib twice.
Yes. The only thing that I guess happened, we cracked a couple of shelves, we forgot to take stuff out.
In the fridge, yeah. Don't stack anything in your fridge shelves when you're going off-road on corrugations, because it just vibrates. And the way they click onto the shelves, like the actual brackets in the shelf, it's like a thin piece of plastic, and it's too much weight. So when you stop and think about it, if you've got glass jars of jam and mayo and whatever else, it's a lot of weight bouncing up and down constantly on them. Since then, they've been fine. I just unpack the shelves.
Yes.
Like the door shelves, I should clarify. Not the actual fridge, just the door shelves.
Yeah, and empty out the water jug.
Yeah, that got us to the eggs, because we left the water jug full and the lid came off the water jug, so then the water sprayed all through the fridge, so then the egg cartons got wet, so then the eggs cracked.
Because obviously you're not supported by the carton.
After that, we've had no more cracked eggs, touch wood.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. Also, don't buy... I'm just going to mention this because I've seen lots of people talking about it in Facebook groups at the moment. There's like a Kmart clear egg tray that lots of people seem to be buying. Don't buy it. It's okay in your house fridge. It is not designed for off-road use. The lid does not clip on. There's nothing to cushion the eggs, and they're actually too long to fit in the fridge anyway, so then you've got to go across the shelf, so you're losing a lot of space. And same with those ones you can buy in a camping store that clip closed. They don't support the egg properly when you're off-road, so just literally stick to the cardboard carton it comes in.
Yeah, they've been pretty good unless they get wet, so.
Yeah, just keep them dry.
All right, cool. Let's move on. What has surprised you the most whilst traveling? Well, it's not really a surprise. I mean, well, we knew fuel was going to be expensive.
Yeah, but we're going to get to fuel in a minute anyway.
Okay. We knew groceries were going to be expensive.
Yeah, the West Coast is far more expensive to live on than I anticipated. Like, groceries over here are wild compared to what we pay on the East Coast. So, feel sorry for you WA people that have to pay this as your regular prices. It would eat into your household budget a lot.
I think what surprised me is you realise how much or how little you actually need.
Oh yeah, there's still stuff in there we could cull. We sent 2 big boxes of stuff home, and we could still send more stuff home, I reckon, and it would be fine.
Yep.
It's just stuff we haven't touched. So we're like, oh, we'll take this. Literally haven't used it.
And then you're gonna notice when you get back home, you're like, we've done without this for a year or so, and
yeah,
do we need it? But then you're in a house, it's this different situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we were packing up the house,
we culled a lot.
Gave a lot of stuff away, because obviously there's only so much room you can store in a little container, well, a shed.
Yeah, shipping container or storage unit, whatever you use.
Yeah.
Something else, like everyone says, oh, you'll have heaps of downtime. You don't. I don't know who has downtime on this trip, because you really don't, especially if you've got kids. So by the time you get the kids to bed,
kids chew that up.
Do the dishes, but even just in the evening. By the time you get the kids into bed, do the dishes. Then you know you're off power, so you don't want to be using a lot of power overnight, because obviously there's nothing coming in from solar. So you're aware of it, unless you're Jeremy video editing. But normally your laptop's charged during the day.
Yep.
But then you're looking at, like, where am I going next? When am I getting water? Where's the next fuel? Where's the next grocery store to stock up? Like, there's always something you're planning. Like, there's never just time you're like, okay, I'm going to do absolutely nothing.
Though yesterday was actually pretty good when it was rainy, cold. We actually couldn't do anything. So it was more just put a movie on for the kids, or a couple movies. And that was nice and relaxing. Yeah,
but that's the first rainy day we've had in months.
Well,
literally since Easter. So
yeah,
that doesn't happen very often if you're following the sun.
No.
If you're staying down south, then yeah, maybe. But
you'll definitely get rain down south.
We didn't do that. We followed the sun.
Yep. All right. Will you be going back to your old life when it's all over?
Yes, we are going home.
We are.
We had 12. We're lucky. We're very fortunate that we have jobs where we could take 12 months leave and be paid for that 12 months, just at a reduced rate compared to our normal pay. So we will be going back because we still have jobs, and we kept our house. We rented it out, and my parents have got a dog. Very grateful for them having our dog.
Yes. Thank you, Grammy and Granddad.
Yeah.
We love
you. So yes, we said 12 months. If we were going to do longer, we would go home and get the dog. But 12 months is enough. The kids have wanted to go home for a while, on and off. They miss their friends. They miss school. I miss school because I could pass them off.
Yes. Homeschooling is another kettle of fish.
Homeschool, I think maybe the ages of our kids makes it hard. Plus Emily's hearing loss makes it very hard for her to understand when I'm not a teacher and I don't know how to teach these things, is the other aspect of it.
Yep. Yeah, so, and if you don't know, we're both nurses.
Yep.
I'm community mental health.
I work in post-anaesthetic care unit or recovery for operating theatres in a big hospital.
We met in theatre.
Oh, okay, we're not going over that story.
What? Were you...
Oh, because you'll pull out your corny jokes. Oh, you saw me across the operating table. No, that is not how it went down.
No, well, I just got lumped in with all the students.
We weren't students,
not students.
We were grads.
Grads, I mean.
Oh.
Yes. in the grad program.
Grad program group. And
Yeah.
you just got thrown in with us because you were new
I was new.
to theatre. Anyway.
Theatre, yeah, exactly. So, and it all worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next one. What are the best and worst places you've stayed? Is there anywhere you've been that was a big letdown or disappointment? All right, so best and worst places. That's a toughie because,
They're all so different.
I mean, you got beach and then you've got bush.
Yeah, and you've got like a little bit remote area, bush like area, but then you've got the outback, which is literally its own kettle of fish.
Yeah.
Places I've liked Huskinson, New South Wales coast.
Okay. That was early on in the trip.
Kings Canyon in the NT.
Yeah, Kings Canyon was nice.
Lots of places in the Gib are beautiful, but very remote. You need to be prepared to go there. Oh, go away, Wasp. You weren't invited. I feel like Lake Argyle is quite hyped up.
Yeah, I've heard that. Don't get me wrong, it looked beautiful and it was nice.
We just drove in and had a look. We didn't stay there because it was fully booked when we were there.
Yeah.
And it's not somewhere cheap to stay. And it just seemed very crammed in, and like, yes, you have your nice pool, but there's 50,000 people in there with you.
Yeah. I mean, you got that infinity pool, but we took the photo. The water was freezing anyway.
Yeah, it's ice cold.
So, yeah, and that was like the weather was still hot, but the pool was freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what else that's been a bit of a disappointment, really.
All right. Well, for me, the best, I really enjoyed Bard Creek.
Bard Creek was good.
Bard Creek was absolutely beautiful. It was a mission for us to get to because we got lost.
And there was a bushfire.
And there was a bushfire, and we had to chainsaw our way out of that. But getting on the beach and like camping right on the beach and having the beach right there at your doorstep was absolutely beautiful.
Actually, 14 Mile was one of my other favourite ones too, because you're on the beach there and it's easy to get to.
Yeah, actually, 14 Mile was pretty good. But for Outback, the best, for camping wise, that's a tough one. Like, I didn't mind the Carragini one, only because Carragini just blew my mind. That place was absolutely amazing.
Pretty spectacular.
Camp was, well,
we did free camping.
Yeah.
So we did Carragini free camp on Wiki and Borders Overnighter on Wiki.
Yep. Actually, that camp, just before we got to the free Carragini one.
Albert Tongolini.
Albert Tongolini.
Yeah.
Right up there on the
Everyone
top of the
ridge.
ridge.
Everyone needs to do a night there.
That was actually good. Some people have actually done a few nights there. It's free camp. It's right overlooking the range there, and absolutely beautiful. You can have campfires. It's just very, very picturesque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone should go to that one if you're in the area.
Yeah,
definitely
that was pretty good. Disappointing campgrounds? Anything that we didn't like?
None that I've disliked. Some are just
not as good as others.
Yeah, when you see, like when you're moving through a lot of them, you see all different aspects.
Yep.
But yeah, a few people we've spoken to have said Lake Argyle's a bit hyped up, and it's right, it is. It's very much a Instagram versus reality.
Oh, good bush camp, the Pentecost River. So I've got Bard Creek for beach, Pentecost River for outback. Well,
I wouldn't really class that as outback, but anyway.
Well, it's in the bush, in the middle of nowhere. Kimberley.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right, cool. Next one. What happened in Coober Pedy after the Oodnadatta Track with someone laughing at your misfortunes? And who was it?
We won't name names because we're not going to be those people. We're going to be bigger than them. we obviously didn't hide that we had broken things on the van and the car. We kind of limped into Coober Pedy with the van in particular because we had 2 broken brake lines by that point. So we'd capped off brake lines
On the van.
So we limped into Coober Pedy. We had no jockey wheel either, so we rang caravan park on the way in, and they luckily found us a spare jockey wheel in the shed that was as old as the hills probably. It looked like it, they said it came off an old caravan they were scrapping, but it looked like it came off a box trailer because it was very small.
Yeah, it was probably as big as our box trailer.
Jockey wheel, yeah.
But rusty as.
Yeah, so some good WD-40 got that going again.
Yeah, half a can of that, and it started working.
So that got us unhitched, and that's when we found the problem with the car. So then it was all obviously on socials, and someone thought it would be hilarious to send laughing emojis to us and reply to those stories. And when we questioned them, they then blocked us.
Yeah.
And not just us, people we were with. They've actually blocked people we were travelling with at the time, which I think more just goes to show their behaviour than anything else.
Yeah, because I think a bit of background story to that is they were all about, oh, you need airbags, you need all the best gear, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which we said, if your budget wasn't
a
problem, then sure, we would have airbags on our van, but we don't, and we bought our van secondhand, and we got a quote to put airbags on, and it was 15 grand minimum to rip out the suspension that's already on there that's perfectly functional just to put airbags in. And that's 15 grand we can spend seeing places. Exactly.
And I mean, it doesn't really matter what setup you've got. I mean, we've seen people
we've spoken to
traveling...
family doing it in old Jaycos and everything. Like, get out there, have fun. You don't have to have the best of everything.
No, you just have to, travel within your means.
Yeah.
Know your gear, know what it's capable of. We found out what this was capable of. That's all been rectified now. Everything's been all rigid, and
we've just worked out that the brake lines are in probably not ideal spots because they're very easy for rocks to flick up and get them.
Yes.
Because of where they are.
So, that's
a design failure and something we would look at if we ever get another van as to where the brake lines are actually sitting.
Yeah. But other than that, this van has done everything we've asked. No drawers have come out, no fridges have...
No leaking windows, nothing like
windows,
that.
Touch wood. Nothing fallen out.
There's nothing catastrophic. Like, yes, the brake lines are annoying, but we got them replaced. It was just a matter of finding a brake specialist to redo the lines.
And it still worked on 2 brakes.
Yeah, it did still pull up fine on 2 brakes. So
yeah, had to really crimp those brake lines.
We just increased our red arc to a higher level, and
which one day I did
counteract
turn it up too much, and then
we smoked the tires.
Smoked the tires and stopped.
Yeah. All
right. Cool. Now, where am I? What's your most used mod?
Used mod?
Like, for you?
For me? I don't know.
Like, I mean, I've done so many mods. And I've still got more mods to do on the van.
Oh, you're always changing something. You can't help yourself. You can't do downtime. You have to tinker with something.
Yeah. Does that include you?
Oh, can we stop? You know what?
Okay, all right.
Don't look at me like that.
All right.
I don't know what my first... I mean, it's not really a mod, it's a product.
Okay, what's your most used product?
Fusion lock baskets. They're everywhere in our van, and they work beautifully. So I have one behind my bed because we have an east-west, like behind my head on the bed. So we have east-west. So I can stick my phone there to charge overnight, and my Kindle and stuff like that. My headphones. Both my AirPods and my loops when Jeremy's snoring.
Which I think there was a question about that later on, which we'll
get to that.
I'll just double check to see if the camera's still recording. Yep.
Don't play your mic. Whilst you're running?
No, I was holding the zip so it doesn't tinker.
All right, your mod.
Okay. Well, was it most used mod? Well, there's mods that get used every day that I guess we don't think about. I mean, there's a mod up there as a awning bracket
Oh yeah,
support.
everyone should have one of those. You need a middle bracket on your awning.
Yep,
Otherwise they just bounce
pop
like
in a
this.
shot of that. Yeah, definitely need that.
Yeah.
Because the 2 points that it's connected, I mean, in between, it just bounces up and down. And with this support, there's been no issues.
Let's be honest, caravan walls aren't exactly the thickest things around. So I have seen some stuff on socials of people's awnings like snapping the bolts at the bottom where it connects to the van.
Yep.
Because their awnings bounce so much and it's just so much weight and stress on a couple of bolts. So yes, put a middle bracket in. It's not going to bounce around the middle so much.
Yep. All right. What's your most favorite mod or install on the van? I mean, that was pretty much the same.
What about your special fancy little light bulb?
Oh, okay. It's probably not a mod. Well, it's not an install. Well,
Just spit
it's
it
a
out.
product. So this is a rechargeable lithium LED. It's also motion sensor. This gets used every single night. We've got multiple in the vans. So when we go off grid, and even if we're not off grid, switch it on. It goes, I don't know if you can see it from there, but you can change different colors as well. So you can have white, and then
Like a warm light.
and mid-warm. And it's just really, really handy for the kids when they get up in the middle of the night, go to the toilet. It just comes on and you can make it brighter or, dimmer.
It came with a magnetic.
Yeah, also comes with
thing,
magnetic
didn't
strip. So it just hooks up there. And this has not fallen off once
No.
on the Gib, on the Oodnadatta. I won't say Marini because that was a walk in the park.
Fine. But yeah, no, they haven't fallen off. They just live up there. And we just plug it in and charge it when the red light comes on to say it's going flat. And what do you reckon?
Probably get maybe a week or so.
I reckon it's probably close to 10 days before they need charging.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Because it's not a week, it's longer than a week.
I've just been using a week as a rough guide, but 10 days.
I reckon it's about
Probably
10 days.
10 days for that. That has been good. I've got them in the car as well. So, get to the car if I leave the boot open and then it switches off when I walk away, switch it back on obviously when I...
When your wife says to you at 10 o'clock, did you lock the car? Oh, no, I'm just going to close the boot now. Yeah.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, so they're actually really handy. I'll try and pop a link down below of where we got them, because some of these things, we bought in the beginning of our trip. So, but that's actually been probably the most handy. And when you're off grid,
then you're not using any power other than to charge it, but then you charge it and that's it for the week.
Yeah, we've got one in the shower as well, so that switches on when we open the door.
Yeah, that one's just Velcroed though because of the shower wall. So we've just got a lip at the top and we just put some Velcro dots and just Velcroed it.
Heaps bright. And then we've got some in the kitchen as well.
Just over the sink for doing dishes.
Just in case, That's probably, one of the most, I guess, handy and useful. All right. Oh, this probably goes into the same category. What are your favorite off-grid must-haves? Well, this obviously, that's pretty good.
An inverter.
Solar.
So we upped the solar that was on this van. We had that changed last year, so we've now got 800 watts on the roof.
Which compared to some vans isn't much, but we only had 2 panels when we first got the van, so it is a bit of an upgrade. We only had 340.
340 or something before, so we filled the roof as much as we could with the panels they could fit up there, obviously because the roof was already done.
Yeah.
When you build from scratch, obviously you can play with where roof hatches and all that sort of stuff is, but we couldn't do that. But so we've got 800 watts up there now. What's our 2600 watt inverter? Yeah,
2600 watt inverter.
Which means I can run the Thermomix, the microwave, everything. So we cook like we cook at home, just off grid. The other thing we did was we changed to a composting toilet too.
Yes.
So we still have a hatch in the wall.
Yeah. So the hatch is...
This was built with a cassette.
Yep.
And then we changed it. When we did the solar, we got them to change out the toilet too.
Yeah. Well, there's a few things we got changed out. So we got the composting toilet, which is a Nature's Head, which has, at the moment, has the biggest solids container. It's a manual churning.
Yeah. You can get a foot or a hand pedal. Ours is technically a hand winder, but we use our foot.
Yeah, use a foot. It's fine.
It works fine.
Yeah,
I
got
don't
3
know
prongs
really
and you
what
just use your foot
The
to turn it.
differences.
And the most we've got out of that has been 5 weeks
Yep.
at one state. That was pre-gib, then the gib, then a week after the gib, and then just before we left.
Well, we changed it. Oh yeah, because we changed it in Kununurra, and then we went to Bungle Bungles, and then
Bungles.
and then we went back up to the gib.
Yep.
Did the gib. It was 3 weeks on the gib, and then a week or so after that, we emptied it.
Yeah.
In Broome. So.
Yeah. So that was really good. And
about
obviously
5
you got to
weeks.
change the wee when that's full. I know there are a lot of other, there's a few other composting ones out there. And I know Ogo's pretty popular.
Ogo is popular, but
There's-
it's electronic churning.
Yes.
But we've met a few people with broken parts. And then they've had to get a stick
Yes.
and churn it. So,
I mean, you can find a stick
Yeah,
anywhere,
it's
but
not
that's
the end of
just
the world.
no, it's not the end of the world.
but yeah, just something that's one of the biggest differences between the two.
Oh, plus they've got maggots, like with flies and maggots in there.
Yeah, but I
composting.
also know some people have now had this with Nature's Head. So it's all dependent on your mix.
Okay.
So you don't want it too wet because then you get bugs coming.
Yeah.
We seem to have hit the sweet spot with ours. But yeah, it depends. Like if you've got 4 or 5 people using it, or if you've got 6 people using it, your dry mix to start with is a little bit different.
Yep.
And it's trial and error. It took us a couple of goes to get it to the sweet spot.
Yep. What else? Oh, we also got the oven removed. I mean, that's a personal choice. When we got the solar and everything
Yes,
done.
we did. We took the oven out and replaced it with a different stove top and built a cupboard underneath it, which is where the Thermomix lives.
Yeah, so it's a hybrid cooktop. It has 1 induction and 2 gas.
Yep.
Not a big fan of the induction, eh?
No, we only have 1 frying pan that works on it, so I don't love it because then I'm like, I've got to use the gas anyway to use the saucepans. And then I'm also not worried about battery if we're just using gas because we have heaps of gas.
But then if you're in somewhere that's pretty sunny and you replenish that easily, which probably
I don't know,
today,
it's all a personal preference. There are people
It
who
is.
have full electric vans and there are people who just use gas
yes.
for everything. So,
Well, we don't have a huge battery system.
no, we don't.
300 amps.
Yeah.
Well,
I think 400 is probably the sweet spot for families. Minimum,
Yeah.
like go above 400, then you're not worried about it going flat so much.
no. We've been flat a few times, but that's probably my fault.
Yeah, normally you leave Starlink on or something overnight.
Yes. Well, I'm editing to godly hours in
And
the
then your
morning.
laptop goes flat, so then you plug your laptop in and then your laptop drains the batteries faster.
Exactly.
And all the lights are on.
Yep.
Yep. Anyway, come on, let's get
All
this
right,
done.
okay,
Otherwise
listen.
people are going to tune out and be like, oh, they talk for 3 hours.
Okay. All right. What do you do to prepare for going off-grid for weeks at a time?
A big grocery shop is the biggest one.
Yes. And if you want to save money at the till, with Woolies,
Yeah, the Woolworths Everyday Rewards Extra program. We got it when it was half price at Christmas time last year.
so it's $35 a year.
Yeah. I think at the moment it's $70, but you'll get that back easily. So then you get 10% off a shop at Woolworths and Big W. So each one you get once a month. You can do it online. If you're doing click to collect order, you can still put the code in online and do it that way. But yes, we get easily between, well, it depends on our shops really, between $30 and $50 back. $50 is what I cap it at a month. So
Yep. So you spend $500 on groceries.
You get $50 back.
$50 back. And that's once per month for Big W and Woolies. But
Yeah.
in saying that, when we went,
there's a glitch sometimes.
yes,
I've done click and collect orders and used it, and then we've gone to the checkout and bought like, I don't know, $20 worth of something, and it comes up then and you're like, oh well, I don't want to use 10% off and $20 worth, so you don't use it. But then it doesn't always seem to recognize if you've used it online and if you've used it at the store. So our last shop I could have gone in store and done it, but I didn't. I did a click to collect, so oh well.
and speaking of click and collect, I mean,
Oh yes.
that's, I wouldn't say it
It has
changes the
pros
game.
and cons.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say it changes the game, or it's a game changer.
It's
But
handy.
It is handy because you can just plan the night before.
Speaking as a person who never does our grocery planning
I'm
or
there.
our trip planning.
I'm there in presence.
So I do it.
But we get to places safely and on time.
Okay. I wouldn't say on time.
Okay, safely.
Yeah, I've done it quite a few times now, especially when I know it's going to be a big one. I just do it all online and then they just bring it out to your car for you and you just literally load it into the car. Having said that, the biggest con, some of these towns only have small Woolworths or they only get deliveries like once a week. So then they run out of stuff. So then they substitute it for something. So sometimes that works really well in your favour. Jeremy's managed to score some really good powdered milk out of it. The fancy brands, and you don't pay any extra because we just order the Woolies home brand powdered milk, which is
So that's
a kilo for $10.
kilo for $10. But the fancy stuff that I got recently, I think it was
The A2 one is like $19 a bag for a kilo, which they substituted for last time. So yes, we won on that one. But at the same time, I had ordered peas, corn and carrot frozen vegetable mix, and they substituted it with broccoli and cauliflower.
which we mainly get that kind of mix for Benji because he loves it as a dessert.
Yeah,
he loves frozen veggies
It's his snack. His favourite snack is just to sit there with a cup of frozen veggies and eat it. We also use it in fried rice and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, the broccoli and the cauliflower wouldn't have gone quite as well in our fried rice.
No.
And when I went in to swap them, they told me that you have to organise this all online. You shouldn't do it in store. So he was happy to do it there and then for me, and I just swapped it for peas and corn because that was all they had. But yes, it's all supposed to go through Olive, their online chat person, to organise for refunds. And then I think you must keep the product. I don't know what happens because if it's got to be organised online, then by the time it goes back to store, surely they don't want it back in case someone's left it out the freezer.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal is with that. But yeah, don't plan your click and collect for the morning you're leaving a town if that's the case, because you might not be able to swap it. Some stores won't swap it. The store we went to was happy to swap it.
Yeah. Plus we got mince substituted for diced beef.
Yeah, that one was annoying.
Which was okay for us because we got the Thermomix. Annoying because, well, we had to then mince it.
Yeah, which if you don't have something with you to mince it, yeah, then there was extra dishes because the Thermomix bowl had been used for that, even though what was I cooking? Tacos, so I didn't need to use the Thermomix for tacos.
No.
But oh well.
All right,
next.
You gonna do the next one?
We haven't actually finished going off grid. So yeah, fill the water tanks, make sure the toilet's good if you know you're going to be going for a couple of weeks. Make sure, like for us, for the composting.
Yep.
Groceries, we take bottled water, like we just get those 10-litre packaged ones from Woolies and Coles if we're going to be off grid, so that we can then get 6 days out of the tanks on the van.
Yep. Plus.
Plus they're not normally empty by that if we're really careful. It's just we know that's our kind of limit. 6 days, we've got to find a water refill by then. Plan your fuel, take jerry cans with us most of the time if we're going off grid, because you never know when you're going to run out of fuel. If you get a headwind, thanks WA, it's killing our fuel economy.
Which isn't great to begin with, being a V8 petrol.
No, but it's on par with all the Land Cruisers we've met.
Oh, it is.
With the same weights.
Still, yes.
If you weigh 7 tonne, you're not going to get 12 litres per 100. Like, let's be realistic here.
Yeah, but the cruiser guys are not going, oh yeah, this is great economy either. So
no, they're pretty much
par.
The same. What else did we do? We've pool noodled all underneath the pipes just to stop the rocks flicking into the pipes of the plumbing because they're all exposed, which is the same for most vans, so just check that.
Yeah.
I have seen people use them like rubber matting, which I'm sure would work really well, but that's a lot heavier than pool noodles, so just check your weights if you're going to do that. What else? This goes into the next question of we've seen you do some tough tracks. What do you do to prepare for that? Another one is walkie-talkies or UHFs. You need one.
Definitely.
You actually need 2 realistically. You need a handheld one for someone to spot you when going in and out of sites or tight tracks, and you need one in the car. Whether you still have a handheld one for the car or you have one wired in, but everyone should have one.
Yes. Well, we've come across a lot of vehicles that just don't seem to have it, or if they do, they don't use it. It's not on.
Yeah, or they just fly past you, or you try to let them know that something's happening. Or the hire vehicles is another one. I feel like hire companies should just give them out with the hire car. Like, you see these hire cars that are set up for touring, rooftop tents, everything, fridges, everything in the back. But then they have no UHF. Like, surely that's the most basic of things to put in a car that you're sending out to people.
And then when you're on a big dusty track,
you can't see if anyone's in front of them because the dust is flicking up in everyone's faces.
Yeah.
They can't see in their mirrors that you're right behind them. So.
Yeah, or they're behind you and they want to overtake you. You don't know, and then all of a sudden you look over like, whoa, there's a car there.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Definitely UHF.
Definitely UHF. I mean, I could say dual battery in the car. I mean, that's not really necessary for going off grid.
It depends if you want to run a fridge, really.
Yes, which we have an Engel going 24/7. We've only got 100 amp hour lithium in there and 170 watt on the roof, which has been fine.
Yeah, and our Engel's running as a freezer at the moment.
Yeah, so that's drawing more power.
Since before we went to the Gib, really.
Since the Gib, I guess.
Can't remember when we switched between fridge and freezer. At one point it was our drinks fridge. Now my drinks are just sitting on the floor of the van. I have to put one in every day when I want one.
Yeah.
Into the fridge because I don't have the fridge room.
Which amazingly survived the Gib. They just rubbed all the...
Yeah, all the colouring comes off. So if you've got more than one type of drink with you, even if you've got Coke and ciders or something, it'll be a lucky dip because the colour just washes off of them and then you're like, I don't know which one's which.
Yeah.
But yes. Anyway. What else did you do for the Fourby? We had our suspension beefed up.
Yeah. Airbags
put on the car.
So we've got a Y62 Patrol Series 5. We got tougher suspension for towing. We got a small or the cheap GVM upgrade.
Yeah.
Which has all been plated or mod plated.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's a Queensland thing. I don't know if all states have the smaller GVM upgrade though.
What was because I think it was like $500.
It was $500 to have our GVM replated to 180. No, 180. Yeah, 180 kilos off of what we did with our basic suspension upgrades. If you want to start going higher, you have to change control arms and stuff on the Patrol. So
yep.
You need to talk to someone in particular if you want to go higher. We are probably going to go higher once we're back home and got some more money saved up.
Yeah, because coming to these places, we see there's so many beautiful, amazing places you can get to via boat.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're looking at whether we get a rooftop tinny or an inflatable boat for these sorts of trips in the future.
Because we've met lots of people who've had both.
Yes. And it comes down to weight and storage and everything of where you're going to put it, basically.
Yeah. What else did I do to the car? I put in a drawer system, one drawer, obviously a fridge slide, a dual battery system, and solar controller and all that.
Yep.
Which it's actually been really, really good. Renogy, I don't know if anyone else has it, but I rate it. It's a 60 amp DC-DC charger. Works, touch wood, hasn't skipped a beat. It's been really good.
No.
Pumped in up to 60 amps. Our batteries have usually been pretty good, so usually if they're really flat, they'll pump in 50 to 58 amps. Obviously then it peters down when it's getting charged or fully charged.
Yeah, the battery system in the van.
Yeah.
Also float charges,
and plus
needed,
a separate solar controller, so I can have both pumping in at the same time, which Anderson goes straight to the van as well, which charges it up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are bigger, better systems out there, but this one works for us. It was reasonably priced, and it works for us.
Yeah.
And you just got to find a system that works for you, or a system that's within your budget that works for you as well.
Come on, we'll be here all day.
Okay, quick. Next one.
Most expensive fuel. Well, if anyone's done the Gib and gone to Columbaroo, you'll know expensive fuel.
Yes.
The prior to going there, I think the most expensive fuel would have been somewhere like Fraser Island, where you expect it. And I think it was around $3 a litre last time we were there.
The William Creek was $3.20 per litre for 91.
Yes, and I saw someone the other day saying it was about $3.25 somewhere on the Nullarbor. So you go remote, you got to expect it's going to be more expensive. Columbaroo, however, if you have the misfortune like we did of timing it when they don't have enough fuel available, they had plenty of diesel, they did not have plenty of unleaded. So the fuel truck only gave them 8,000 litres instead of the regular 12,000 litres they normally get. So then they capped it and you were allowed a jerry can per person. That jerry can was 20 litres, literally to the click. They measured it,
click.
like not to the fill, like past the fill line, it was 20 litres and it cost you $75.
Yes.
Which is $3.75 per litre.
So that's 25 cents off $4.
Yeah. 25 cents off $4 a litre. Yep.
So,
it was brutal. We spent $300 in fuel in a week.
For 4 jerry cans.
Yeah, for 80 litres.
And that was 2 separate days because obviously you can only get a jerry can per person per day.
Yeah, so Columbaroo only does fuel Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 10. That's it. That's the only times that you can get fuel. And you have to go into the general store, prepay it, and then go to the fuel bowser where they fill it for you.
Yep.
So if you're getting diesel, and because diesel was unlimited at that point, you had to guess how much you needed, but there's no refund if you went over.
Yes.
So just beware.
Yep. Yeah.
Does Jeremy's jokes ever get old? 100%. They drive me batty.
What?
Small spaces. There's no escaping a rule when you're living in a 19-foot-6 caravan 24/7. And yes, there are days that I'm like, will you stop with the jokes? You were driving everyone insane.
Dad jokes are timeless.
Okay, moving on. Who does most of the driving? Jeremy.
Yes, I do most of the driving. There are times when you do drive.
Yeah, normally because you want a drone.
Yeah.
And I get a last minute, I'm going to put the drone up. Can you drive? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yep. No pre-planning.
Yeah, but sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Who does most of the planning? That would be me. Jeremy does not know where we're going most days, despite the fact that I write it in the calendar on our phones, because we have a linked calendar on our phones. Write it in my diary, write it in the business diary, tell him there's actually a piece of paper that I write down when we've got bookings with each date that's just literally on the bench. Nope, doesn't pay any attention to any of that.
Look, I sometimes do.
No, he just goes, oh, when it pops up on his calendar.
No, not always.
Yeah, it does if you're in the middle of something and you're like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's just you adding stuff to the calendar.
Yeah, it's all right.
But then you pay no attention to it.
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Anyway.
Yes. So
let's keep going, because otherwise...
The planner of the trip and...
is me.
All right, well...
Yeah.
Hang on, I'll just check to see if the battery's still going on your camera, because it... Yep.
All right.
Because you said your battery was low before.
Well, that's why I put it on charge. Anyway.
Okay.
Best free and best paid camp you've stayed at, or best free, I reckon, is Bard Creek.
Oh, yeah.
For both of us.
Yep. Best free, Bard Creek, and that's the Dampier Peninsula, just out of Broome.
Yeah, supposed to be 45 minutes out of Broome, unless you get lost like us.
Yes.
Best paid camp. Oh, I don't know.
Best.
I don't know. Best
because
paid camp. That's a hard one.
Because you want best paid cheap camp. Like, I mean, most of the camps are paid. Like, you go to a national park.
Actually, okay. Let's be honest. Let's go paid camp. If you go WA parks booking, if you can get one.
Yeah.
I would say South Lefroy or 14 Mile.
Yes, I thought they were pretty good.
Winterband is nice, don't get me wrong, but there's no snorkeling, like just off the shore. You've got to go a lot further out, which when you've got little kids, it doesn't really work. South Lefroy, you literally walk out into the water and you can snorkel a reef. So I reckon South Lefroy is better for that.
Yep.
If you've got older kids in a boat, Winterbandy.
Yeah. If you can get in.
If you can get in, yeah. So when we come back, we will pre-plan our trip and have all of our dates booked in.
Yes, because we hadn't planned or booked pretty much most of the way, really, like pre-planned. much.
No, we've winged our entire trip.
Yeah.
We've not pre-planned anything. And that was the only place we've come slightly unstuck. But we
Yeah.
still got a spot at Point Billy. We just day tripped to the other places to go look.
which is not far, like 10 minutes
Yeah,
away.
they're not that far.
And plus,
I didn't realise how close they actually were to each other.
but it was quite annoying actually, because not the travel bit, but driving around, you're like, there's so many empty spots.
Yeah, WA Parks needs to work on this.
And
so
everyone we've met complains about, like,
if you talk to any travelling family, that's their number one complaint, is the WA Parks booking system, because people can book it for a concession, which is $7 a night for one person, which holds the site, but then they don't turn up and all they've lost is $7.
but if you cancel it,
Then they charge you $7 to cancel it, so then it's cost you $14, so no one cancels them.
yeah,
If you cancel it with enough warning, they do give you your money back, but people's plans change all the time. So I feel like they just need to get rid of this cancellation rule. If you can just cancel up until 24 hours beforehand and it'll be fine.
like when we were at 14 Mile, we were
Yeah, we did a sneaky.
Well, we were on the beach. We did.
We paid for two
nights.
Just on two different sites.
Yeah, one on the beach front, and then one behind the dunes. And then we thought, well, if no one turns up, we're not going to move.
Yeah, because we've seen so many empty sites that no one, like they're paid for, but no one rocks up. So we stayed on our site, 24. So we were hitched up. We literally took us 2 minutes to move. So we sat there, and then eventually a group of families did rock up, and they had 24, 25, 26 booked for a few nights. But we had made friends with the people behind us, and they had moved off of their site to share with another site because they didn't have a booking that night because they couldn't get one. So they were just putting the two vans on the same site, which is fine. You can do that in a lot of them.
Yeah, it's your site.
And so we just moved onto their site then. So even though it was booked, no one rocked up. So we just moved backwards onto 23 for the night.
Yeah.
And we had the best night ever. All of us around the campfire, great fun.
Yeah, kids chasing
Chasing the ghost
crabs,
Yep.
picking them up, getting bitten.
Good laughs. Yes. One kid picked one up and then it bit him and he flung it.
Yeah.
And it went through the air, hit the side of someone's boat and fell on the ground. And I was like, oh, oopsies.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, that'd probably be the best paid camp.
Yeah, anywhere along that Ningaloo coast. Because it's, I mean, if you can get a spot, it's fairly cheap.
Yeah. Paid.
You just got to be self-contained, basically. There's no toilets, there's no showers along there.
No.
And there's no drinking water.
Yeah.
There's a couple of taps, but they're bore water and it's incredibly salty and horrible tasting apparently. So even if you've boiled it, you probably don't want to drink it regardless.
No. So unless you've got a reverse osmosis machine,
Yeah.
then yeah. All right.
Is Starlink a must? You can do it without Starlink. Would I want to? No. Multiple families we have met along the way who left without Starlink have bought Starlink along the way.
Yep.
Because everything is digital now, so you can't do your banking, you can't book sites, and if you want to get into these places on the Ningaloo coast, you need to be checking the sites every day, so you need phone reception to check the sites every day. Even if you've got a house at home and you need to pay bills or contact real estate, any of that stuff, yes, you need reception. So we've spoken to so many families and friends easily just because we've got Starlink. Like even where we're filming now, there is no phone reception.
No,
but we
not
have
at all.
Starlink, so we can contact anybody.
Yeah, and the kids can stream something,
Watch
and
a movie.
keep occupied while we're doing
Yep.
this, which has been good.
Yep.
There's been minimal fighting in there.
Yep.
It's just been really good.
Yes.
Oh, that sun's nice.
All right.
All right.
And whilst we're on topic of Starlink, if you don't know, you can pause it when you're not using it. So if you've got a roaming plan and you're only going for 3 months, you can pause it after the end of your 3 months and let it sit there. So we did that. We bought ours last year. We used it at Coolum last year for 2 weeks, then we went back on pause and we unpaused it when we left for this big trip. And it's obviously still been running every month, so we've paid every month. But when we get back home, it will just go back on pause.
Yep. And it has just gone up by $20. So
Yes.
it is 196.
195.
Oh, 195. Feels like 196.
Yeah, $195 a month now for roaming. Unlimited data usage. Which according to their app, we use an extortionate amount of data. If you don't use an extortionate amount of data, you can do a 50 gig limited plan for $80 a month. But once you go over that, they start charging you $1.50 per gig, which if you only go over it for a little bit, you'll be right. If you go over it a lot.
Do you remember how much we used?
In 1 month, we use 600 gig.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how, and I've seen a few people commenting this, being like, how does Starlink measure data? Because we don't use that at home, and yet suddenly we're using it here. I don't know.
Who knows? All right.
I've seen in your stories about Jer snoring a lot. My husband also snores, and I'm afraid I might give him the Tontine treatment if we did our lap. What does Deb do to combat this? Jer has a mouth guard you bought at a chemist.
Yeah. It's called, I don't know how you want to pronounce it, RIP snore, RIP snore.
Yeah. It probably covers 80% of his snoring, and the other 20% is me giving him a good elbow or a shove to make him roll over.
Oh yeah, the old elbow does.
And then he complains in the
of the
morning. Oh, what'd you elbow me for? Like, because you were snoring. No, was it? Yeah, you were. It's an ongoing thing.
I
think I might have a few nights in the spare room when we get home, just so I can have some no snore sleep.
Or I can just, not let go of this trip and stay in the van.
Okay, you can stay in the van. I'll have the house bed then.
Yep, and then I'll be out there, checking the solar panels and checking, charging, churning the compost.
There's a few things in life you don't really appreciate, and I didn't think it would be things you could miss. But apparently you can. You can miss a washing machine that is connected to power and water 24/7 and not have to think about how much water's in your tanks when you really need to do the washing.
I miss a long shower.
Yeah, and an unlimited hot water shower. We had instant gas at home, so it was always hot no matter what. And it never ran out.
Yeah, well, there are negatives and positives for having on-demand hot water.
Yeah.
On demand, well, you don't realise
how much. You use a lot more water.
Yeah, ours is what, a 28 litre.
Yeah, a hot water tank.
Hot water tank, gas hot water, or electric if you're hooked up to power.
Yeah, ours goes both ways.
So yeah, when the water gets cooler, I was like, oh, we've used it up, get out of the shower. But usually way before then anyway.
Yeah.
Especially when we're off grid, which a lot of the time we are. Like
even
now.
the kids have said, they're like, we can't wait till we get home to have a long hot water shower. And I'm like, okay.
We've had a couple of long hot showers, not here, obviously, but...
a couple of caravan parks along the way.
Yeah, Drysdale was actually really hot. I thought that was good.
Yeah, but pressure wasn't great when you've got long hair. So this is the thing. Most girls have long hair they need to wash out. Most men do not. And so they don't really appreciate how much you need that pressure to actually wash your hair properly.
Under pressure.
Anyway.
All right, keep going.
Yes, anti-snore mouth guards do work trick.
Yep. And maybe the Tontine treatment. Not for us.
Might come to that for some people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What apps do you use for your lap? Number 1 would be Wiki Camps.
Yep. That's.
Number 2, Petrol Spy. Google Maps.
Yeah, Google Maps.
Always check your Google Maps where's your Wiki Camps too. If you're going off grid and you're outside of Google's reception, use the Wiki Camps. If you download the offline maps, you can see everything. You just can't see the reviews and feeds and photos section because obviously it's got no reception to load it. But yes, you can navigate then via the map, which is great.
Which is what we did
satellite, so you can see.
Yeah, what we did with the Dampier Peninsula.
What else? Oh, gas finder is another one. When you need a gas bottle refill, it will tell you anywhere in the towns around you who does swap and goes, who does actual refills, and what their refill prices are.
Yep. I think that's...
And then obviously your usual social media, but that's really it. That's the travelling ones. How much do you make on YouTube? That's a you domain. YouTube is 100% Jeremy's domain. I don't do anything on YouTube.
All right.
It varies month to month, I can tell you that, because I'm the person who does the bookkeeping.
Yes. I mean, I encourage everyone, if they want to get into it, do it, try it out, see what you think. To be honest, it is a lot of work, the editing part. Yes. Only because I procrastinate a lot. Because
you do procrastinate a lot, but it's got to be something you enjoy as your own passion first. Don't do it to go and make money and think that is going to fund your entire trip.
No.
Because it takes a long time to get it to a point where you actually make enough for it to be worth it, we'll say.
Yeah. I mean, we don't make a lot as it is, and we don't rely on it. It's not.
No, we don't rely on it.
This money might pay for Starlink.
It normally pays our Starlink bill and
That's it in comparison. So I'll give you a quick
bit of stuff like that.
Quick monthly rundown. So May, 141.42. June was a good one, but I think it's all on, I guess, your views of the videos.
Yeah, it's very view dependent.
Yep. So around June, the Oodnadatta Track video came out, which was
with all its carnage.
All the carnage and stuff. That was 529.72. Then July was 403.
Go away, fly.
$403.08. Then August 220, September 200, and now we're in October, so yeah, it's still accumulating.
It gives you a prediction, but obviously, what are we? A couple of days in, so it doesn't quite know yet.
Yeah.
It'll fluctuate a lot. So,
Yep.
yeah.
And then the payment comes in. Well, it comes in monthly. You can cap it to pay off minimum 100.
I thought everyone started at a minimum of 100.
Or you can, yeah.
You have to earn a minimum of $100 in that month for it to pay out.
Yep.
You can increase it up to like 300 or whatever if you want to, but I assume most people just have it as the minimum and then it just pays out.
Yeah. So, we don't make a lot, and we didn't get into it to make the money. And there's also, to become monetized, you need minimum of 1,000 subscribers and a minimum of 4,000 watch hours, and then you get to send an email.
Then you can apply for it.
You can apply for becoming monetized, and
don't do it when it hits 1,000 though. Wait till you've got like 1,005, because the email will automatically come when you hit 1,000. But wait till there's like a good buffer.
Yeah,
otherwise, if it drops off, then you have to wait again to reapply. So
yep.
Wait till you've got a little bit of a buffer there, because people do change their mind all the time.
Yeah, and that's fine, But we didn't get in this game to get rich. We just wanted to show you our experiences, because everyone has different experiences. And if we make a little bit of money along the way, it's it's a bit of a bonus. But we love travel. We love showing people things via our perspective, and everyone's got different perspectives. So. Yep. All right.
What's the next one? Do you work whilst travelling? No, we don't. We could if we wanted to. There is quite a few travelling nurses on the road, but we are lucky enough still to have our jobs and still being paid whilst we're away. So we don't actually have to. We're just not earning what we would normally earn at home. Because I'm only being paid for one shift a week, and you're on half pay.
I'm half pay.
And they gave us 12 months leave. Why did you put ice in your mouth?
I don't know, it just came out.
Oh, special.
I'm getting paid half pay, and that was for long service leave and... hey, Missy Moo.
Hi. I'm the same. 6 months of long service leave, 6 months of annual leave.
Yep.
Just at one shift a week. And we have very flexible bosses. We've also met plenty of people who've just picked up work in caravan parks, doing cleaning, reception work. There's plenty of work out there. If you want to work along the way, you will be able to find something.
Yeah,
as long as you're willing to do anything. Don't be picky.
No. But there are people that have gotten jobs in their particular field.
Oh yeah, tradies in particular pick up work really easily.
Yeah.
Especially on the WA coastline. They seem to be screaming for work around there.
Yep. Even in the mines too,
yes, miners.
Good money in the mines.
Yeah.
Could I be a FIFO?
Oh, you keep talking about this, but anyway.
Anyway.
Money's not everything. How have you paid for your trip? We saved our butts off for years.
Yes, we worked and worked.
We saved as much as we possibly could. We rented out our house, so that's our mortgage covered, because we're fortunate enough that we bought our house before the market went ridiculous, so our rent completely covers our mortgage. I know there's been a lot of talk in other groups online on Facebook that people, because they've bought in the last couple of years, the rent won't cover their complete mortgage. So that's obviously something you have to work out. We did not want to sell our house because we have met a family. They sold up everything to do their trip and then they couldn't buy back in when they finished. So So now they're stuck living with family. And they're also an older couple, so the banks won't even lend them like, you know, a 30-year mortgage anymore because they don't have 30 years left of work. So it's just something you need to weigh up your own financial situation if you want to keep it or rent it out.
Yep. You might be able to sell at a good price, but then will you be able to get back in that same price minus whatever you've spent for your trip?
Yeah, and if the market shifts drastically, like we've all seen what the market's done since COVID, it's
gone up and up
skyrocketed. But yeah, so just do your research before, look at what other houses in your area are renting for, if that will pay your mortgage, if it won't.
Plus, full-time travel might not be for you. You might get out there and you've sold everything. It's like, oh, it's not what it's all cracked up to be. And to be honest, look, it's not all rainbows and sunshine.
Oh, it's definitely not all rainbow and sunshine. There have been lots of days with tears from me, from the kids.
Yeah.
It's
Deb just gives me the old crack on the...
I do not.
Okay, no, you don't. The jokes, they get a bit much.
Yes.
I sometimes get a bit much. My snoring gets a bit much.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
But yes, so yeah, saved our butts off. We still obviously get paid a bit from our actual jobs back home, and then the little bit we get from YouTube and working with a few brands as affiliates pays for like extra random little things along the way.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all we do to, I wouldn't say stay on the road, but we've worked our butts off to be on the road.
Yeah. All right, last question. What do you do about school for the kids? All right, this is very state dependent. If you are from Queensland or possibly Victoria, it's actually really easy. If you are from New South Wales, I'm really sorry, it's really hard for you guys. Queensland, we could apply for a 12-month exemption. So I had a phone call with our school principal and he said, go, have a fantastic time, do a bit of English, some maths and some reading and writing with them. Good to go, I'll sign you off. So they are legally still enrolled in their school at home for 12 months and we can just do a little bit of reading, writing and maths with them. We've got workbooks that they work their way through and I've given them goals that they have to finish a set amount before Christmas holidays starts, and then they can have the last 6 weeks off. Otherwise they will still be doing schoolwork when everyone else is on Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
New South Wales, I know, do not like you to be homeschooling and travelling. It is basically impossible for them. So if you've got someone in Victoria or Queensland and you can use their address, probably the easiest way around it. And then you can apply to be a homeschooler because it's really easy in Queensland. If you want to be an actual official homeschooler, you just have to apply with a plan and the education department signs you off basically, and then you're registered as a homeschooling family and you can travel. But also the states don't talk to each other, so if you're crossing state borders you could potentially, and I'm not saying do it, but you could potentially fly under the radar.
Yep. And hats off to all those who homeschool full time.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
That's what we're looking forward to, them going back to school.
Yeah, because I think part of it is our kids' ages. If you have a kid who's probably year 4, maybe year 5, they can read and write easily. They can read the questions, they can just work their way through it. But because of the ages of our two, like we're prep in year 1, we have to sit there and tell them word for word what to do, and they don't listen. So Emily's favourite thing at the moment is you tell her to do something and then she just scribbles over the page, and I'm like, what are you doing? I said to draw 4 apples and you've drawn a circle across the page. Like, yeah, frustrating.
Yes.
But yes. And I don't think we really appreciated either with Emily's hearing loss how hard it was going to be for her to learn to read. That's probably the biggest thing that I'm actually worried about her going back to school next year with that.
The pronunciation and the enunciation.
Yeah, and actually just like if you put a letter in front of her, she can tell you the letter, she can tell you the sound it makes. But then when she has to try and blend all the sounds together to read the word, that's what she's still struggling with. But we're working with her speech therapist, so we have a plan for that. But
which Starlink has been coming in very handy for that. So we've been able to be connected to do a speech therapy online through Zoom.
Yep.
But
yes. Anything else?
I don't know. I think that's pretty...
Sun's finally come back out.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't control the weather.
No, you cannot control the weather.
No.
Oh, this is something I probably didn't even think about. At home, you service your car once a year normally. We're up to 3 services already. And we'll probably need a 4th before we go home.
Well, with ours, it's every 10,000.
Yeah, but even most cars, you're just doing the distances. Like your car, normally you drive 6 minutes to work.
Yep.
It doesn't do more than 10,000 in a year. Normally.
Mm.
Whereas it's done in 6 months, it had done 20,000.
Yes.
So that's 2 services right there.
Yep.
So yes, just something to think about, people, and budget for them, because sometimes they're more expensive when you go out of, you know, major cities.
Well, lucky for us, ours is capped.
Yeah, no, but just something to be aware of if you've got a car that's not under capped price servicing.
Yep, true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys. We really appreciate all the DMs and all the questions.
Yep.
Really appreciate you guys tuning in.
This one can really waffle too, so...
Yes, I do like waffles.
He likes to chat for a long time.
I do, especially when you meet new people in camp. You like have a big old chat.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when there's a camera in your face.
Well, that too. Yes.
Come on.
True.
How long is this video going to be?
Well, hopefully the right amount of time.
Okay, we'll see.
All right.
Oh,
well,
excuse me.
Thank you very much.
And he's lost the plot.
Yes, I have. All right, let's
All right,
go.
bye.